Hello from your counselors and student services, and welcome to academic advising for the next school year. It might seem strange that we are only at the midpoint of this school year, and now we're talking about next school year. But this is a process that takes months to do, as you will learn through this presentation. This presentation will cover such topics as your diploma, the how, when, where, and why of choosing your courses for next year, resources available to you for making decisions about which courses to select, and the importance of selecting the right courses for you, next steps, and common questions and things to consider. So without any further ado, let's get started and talk about the diploma. Your high school diploma. It's the middle of the school year and you have so many different things going on. But in all the hustle and bustle of your high school experiences, there is one ultimate end goal you all share, earning your high school diploma. You started planning this when you met with your eighth grade school counselor to select courses for ninth grade, and will continue working with your high school counselor throughout high school until you have that diploma in your hand. For an in-depth overview of the two main diploma types offered to students in Virginia's public schools, visit the Student Services page on academic advising on the Langley website. Speak with your school counselor about any specific questions that you have about how you are meeting your diploma graduation requirements. Ready to talk about picking some courses? Sounds good. Let's start by talking about some important things to consider when beginning the process. There are four key things that you need to take into account. The first one is time. Now, this is an obvious reminder, but do remember that there are only 24 hours in each and every day, and hopefully you're sleeping for 8 of them. Another 7 hours are spent in the classroom during weekdays. Many of you do sports, clubs, performing arts, part-time jobs, and other extracurricular activities that take up several hours. So as you can see, a lot of your time is spoken for. Consider these time commitments when you're selecting your courses. Now, all of your core class teachers might recommend you for honors and AP level courses for next year, but that does not necessarily mean you should take all honors and AP level courses. Your teachers make these recommendations based on your work habits and the aptitude you have demonstrated for the subject, but do not know what your other time commitments are. You do, so plan accordingly. And if you have trouble planning, perfectly understandable, ask your parents, school counselor, teachers, or coaches for assistance. The second thing to consider is your interests. If there is a core subject in which the content fascinates you and you have solid academic habits, consider taking honors or AP or dual enrollment if offered in the subject area and your current teacher recommends it. Likewise, if there is a core subject that you find yourself holding your nose every year when you have to select a course in that subject, why add to the angst and stress? Consider standard level so you can spend more time on the subjects you do enjoy. Something about electives worth mentioning here. One of the most common questions counselors get about electives is, what electives look good to colleges? College admissions counselors consistently tell us that none really stick out. Like high school counselors, college admissions counselors generally believe that electives are for you to explore your interests, try out different things, and who knows, maybe discover what might ultimately become a career path. Explore your interests through electives. The third thing to consider is your post-high school plans. For many of you, this will be college. For others, it will be military. For some, a trade school. For others, it will be heading straight into the workforce. Colleges have different things that they look for in their applicants. So go online to colleges that might interest you to see what those things might be. For those of you looking at options other than college right after high school, talk with your counselor about some great career exploration and enhancing electives. The final thing to consider is graduation requirements. Although part of our jobs as school counselors is to be sure that you are taking courses meeting requirements for a timely graduation, it doesn't hurt to keep track yourselves as well. Sophomores and freshmen. This can mean planning out courses beyond just next year. Juniors. Because next year is your final year of high school, you and your counselor will work together to make sure that the courses you select will meet all the requirements to get a diploma in your hand the following June. All right, now let's talk about some of the courses that you'll be considering for next year. Freshmen, you're up first. Freshmen, your courses for 10th grade are a lot like what they were for this year, largely spoken for. You will take core courses in English, social studies, math, and science. In addition, you will have your final required year of health and PE. For those of you taking a world language, this will take up another selection, leaving you with one true elective. Okay, sophomores, your turn. Sophomores, here is what your options look like in the 4 core class areas for 11th grade. Notice that you're seeing many more options in terms of levels and offerings. AP courses abound, as well as an option relatively new to Langley, dual enrollment. Dual enrollment courses are taught by teachers here at Langley who hold at least a master's degree in the subject. You earn both high school and college credits for the same course. Dual enrollment courses also offer the same grade point boost as AP courses. You will notice that the health and PE requirement is gone, so this opens up another elective choice for you. Okay, juniors, let's take a look at senior year. All right, rising seniors, here it is. You will be selecting courses and working with your counselor to make sure that with the courses you select, each and every requirement for graduation will be met upon successful completion of those courses. You will also firm up with your counselor which diploma type you will be receiving upon completion of senior year. Here are the courses in the 4 core subject areas that are most common in a senior year schedule. All right, we focused on the core course requirements and offerings, but what about actually signing up for classes? How do you do this? Everyone will be given a course selection sheet. These selection sheets will also be made available on our website. There are 2 different versions, one for rising 9th grade students and one for students currently in grades 9 through 11. Let's talk a bit about how to make the most out of these sheets. The course selection sheet is an excellent tool that you will use when deciding on and selecting courses for next year. Highlighted on the sheet are some exciting new course offerings. You can learn about these and all courses on the Academic Advising website, as well as talking with the teacher in the department in which the course is taught. As with other courses, whether or not one of these new courses is actually taught at Langley next year depends on the number of students who sign up for it during course selections. A common question counselors get about electives is about the fine art or career and technology education elective requirement. You'll usually hear career and technology education courses referred to as CTE courses. Page 2 of the course selection sheet has 2 boxes listing all the fine arts and CTE courses that satisfy this requirement. You might be surprised to learn that a course you didn't think satisfies the requirement actually does. Also on page 2 of the course selection sheet is a traditional sequencing and planning grid that can serve as a guide for most of you. The key word here is traditional. There can be and are exceptions. A conversation with your current core class teacher about which course should be next for you is something that we highly recommend. On both pages of the course selection sheet, you will find QR codes that will guide you to helpful pages and information. Check them out. Did you know that you can enter your own course selections into SIS? There is a QR code on page 1 that walks you through how to do this. It is not required that you do so, but it can be a helpful conversation starter to have entered courses in SIS when you meet with your counselor. Your counselor will review the entries that you do make to verify that you meet any prerequisites for the courses you've selected. If you don't enter any courses yourself, no sweat, we got your back. Okay,
Next, we'll go over a couple of things you might want to think about when selecting your courses.
Economics and personal finance. It is a required credit for graduation, and you can take it any year while in high school, although we highly recommend that you take it as a junior or senior because you will find the content a bit more meaningful and relevant to things you have going on in your life at that point. There are many options for fulfilling the requirement, including one linked to by a QR code on page 2 of your course selection sheet. See your counselor with any questions. Academy classes. In Fairfax County, we are fortunate to have academy courses available to students. Academy courses are largely a lot of hands-on and practical application courses. Many offer dual enrollment credit options and professional certifications. Langley is not an academy site, so students who select these courses will ride a shuttle to the academy site. What you see here is just a sample of the course offerings by the academies. More information can be found via the QR codes on your course selection sheet. Note that the academies have open houses and offer opportunities to visit where you can see and experience a class. Check the academy websites for details, accessible via the same QR code. The Fairfax County Public Schools online campus. Fairfax County permits students to take up to 2 courses per year via online campus instead of in the classroom. There are a variety of reasons that a student might want to do this. Have a discussion with your counselor if you are considering an online course or courses. One of the things that the world of virtual learning during COVID clearly demonstrated is that online coursework is not for everyone. Online campus courses meet in the virtual classroom one evening per week. The day is determined by the subject, and attendance is taken. So, if you play sports, this could impact your ability to take a course with online campus. If you choose to take an online campus course next year, you will be asked to select if you would like the course to be in your schedule during the first or last block of the day. Keep in mind this is just a request. We will do our best to honor it, but might not be able to. Important note, wherever the course falls into your 8-period schedule, you may not be on campus. This important provision makes online campus courses really more of an option for seniors who have parking passes and are able to get themselves to and from campus. Registering for a course with online campus needs to be done by your school counselor. All right, so why all this attention to process and detail when it comes to course selections? Naturally, what courses you select are important to you, but they are also important to the faculty and administrative team. Throughout the months of January and February, we will see over 1,500 students, grades 9 through 11, one-on-one to talk about courses and academic planning. The 8th grade counselors will be doing the same thing with our rising 9th grade class. During this time, over 14,000 courses will be selected. The administrative team will use the courses selected to make staffing decisions in order to meet the needs presented with these course selections, and then build a master schedule that will be worked on for several months so as to maximize the number of students who can get all the courses they selected into actual working schedules. For this reason, choose your classes wisely.
Here is why it is important to make solid choices when selecting your courses. The schedule change policy going into effect is going to essentially make many course changes a thing of the past, especially after school begins. Counselors will first work out schedule conflicts and errors. In August, there will be about 200 students whose course requests will not have fit into a working schedule. Our focus will be resolving those. Other changes getting made during this time are to adjust misscheduled classes. Once school begins, counselors will be working to balance courses. Balancing, also referred to as leveling, is making changes to schedules where moving a student or two from a jam-packed class to a class with many open seats serves to alleviate crowding and make more classes available to seat a new student. After the first 2 weeks of school, no class changes will be made through the month of September. If you begin to find yourself struggling in a class during this period, this is not the time to run to your counselor for a schedule change. It is a time to begin working with your teacher to develop a support plan and to get additional help. Beginning at some point in October, students may request a level down adjustment in a course. For example, I'm in AP Pre-Calculus and have been struggling. I developed a plan with my teacher and have been following it, but I am still struggling to earn even a passing grade in the class. You can make the request to move to Pre-Calculus standard level. There is no guarantee of a change because there might not be any seats in the standard level courses, or your schedule might not be able to adjust to fit where the open seats are. And finally, after the first quarter is when a level down request can be submitted for review on a case-by-case basis and space availability basis. The mindset to go into the course selection process with is that you will be committing to the courses you choose for the entire school year. You are far from alone in this process, though. Let's take a quick look at the resources available to assist you.
Here are the resources to help you make informed and responsible choices about courses. The big one, kind of the information hub of this whole process, is the academic advising page on the Langley website. You'll be able to find pretty much anything and everything about making informed course selections here. The course catalog contains a brief, generic description of courses, as well as any prerequisites or grade level restrictions. The curriculum and electives videos are perhaps the best resources available to you about individual courses. Current teachers of the courses have developed videos from 2 to 5 minutes long in which they describe the course and differences in levels in the core subject areas. Links to these videos will be made available online. Thinking about taking an AP course? Great. Inform yourself, however, about what you're getting into by checking out the AP course expectations chart. You guessed it, you'll find this online on the academic advising page. Your grades and transcript. Oftentimes, past performance gives some indication of future performance when it comes to academics. So, if you're earning a C plus in Standard World History 1, you might get a raised eyebrow and discussion from your counselor and World History 1 teacher if you select AP World History for your 10th grade Social Studies course. Your grades and transcript serve as a reminder for you to keep it real in selecting courses. Teacher recommendations. Your teachers have seen your work for about a semester now and have a pretty good idea of your abilities and work habits. If you're thinking about changing levels in a subject for next year, ask your teacher about it. He or she knows about the next course and can give you an honest assessment and recommendation. Your counselor can also be a good resource, depending on how well he or she knows you. Unlike teachers with their recommendations, counselors will give you a more big picture or holistic recommendation based on what you tell him or her. And finally, pure word of mouth can be a good resource, although be careful with this one. On one hand, you can get some perspective from a peer who has sat in or is sitting in the course now. On the other hand, the information you get might be a little, let's just say exaggerated. So as you can see, selecting courses isn't something that you have to do all by yourself. On the contrary, we urge that you don't. All right, just a few things to keep in mind as you begin. What are my post-high school plans? This could influence your course selections. For example, if you plan to apply to a school of engineering at a pretty competitive university, you're probably going to want a couple of physics and high-level math courses like AP Calculus on your transcript. Your counselor can help you with this. Should I try honors, dual enrollment, or AP? This is a great discussion to have with your current teacher in the subject you are considering this. He or she will have the best insight and recommendation. It is strongly urged that you do not overreach by telling yourself, well, I know I haven't been applying myself as much as I should, but next year I'll be much better with it. Get much better with it first, then make a move to level up. Message to sophomores. You may be either feeling tempted or being influenced to load up on honors or AP courses for junior year. A word of advice from your counselors who have over 80 years combined experience doing this. Yes, we're that old. Play to your strengths and don't overreach. Keep it real. And you should know what real is for you by now. Remember that you're selecting a course, not a teacher. Yes, some teachers have elective courses that students know they teach. And I'm going to pick on Ms. Jewell, our creative writing teacher for the past several years. As much as you like Ms. Jewell, selecting creative writing to have her as your teacher next year isn't a wise move. Through staffing, she may not be the creative writing teacher next year, or Ms. Jewell may hit the Powerball over the summer and retire to her own island. No school year is exactly like the previous year in teacher staffing, ever. So choose courses for the course, not the teacher. Balance is critical. Now is the time that you have total flexibility with your planning. Avoid unforced errors, especially committing to a course and extracurricular load that makes you question whether or not you're going to be able to handle it. As you've heard, fixing the commitments you make to courses right now may not be doable in the fall. Those courses and electives videos, all I can say is check these out. There should not be a course you sign up for that you have not reviewed the video for. And finally, come prepared when you meet with your counselor. Your counselor will love you for this. This doesn't mean don't have any questions when you see us. It simply means showing that you have at least done your part in checking out the courses you're interested in. Ideally, you won't be asking questions like, so, what's film study and what do you do in there? You'll have watched the 4-minute video put together by Mr. Baricki about the course and might know more about the course than your counselor does. Instead, we would ideally be focusing on things like your balance, graduation requirements, and academic planning while we discuss your selected courses. Next steps. Okay, things will start happening pretty fast from now through mid-March. A lot of preparation has gone into this process already, and this presentation kicks it all off for you, the students. In the days following this and your counselor visiting your Langley Links class, you will be called in to meet with your counselor one-on-one. Juniors and sophomores, this will happen through your English class. Freshmen, we'll catch you one day at PE. Take a moment to look at the schedule to see the time frame in which counselors will be meeting with you.
Here is the comprehensive timeline. Things that you can be doing now include reviewing the materials for academic advising on the Langley website, checking out the core and elective videos to hear from teachers about their courses, and for those wanting to tap their Type A personalities, learning how to input your course selections into SIS by watching the video and doing it. Note the date and times for the elective fair for students and curriculum night for parents. You will notice 2 dates in red below. They are red for a reason, as they are critical dates in the course selection process. Up until March 8th, we can change any course you have requested, no problem. Requests received after this will be placed on a wait list and need to be reviewed by administration. After June 1st, no new requests to change selected courses will be accepted, as the master schedule begins to take shape and individual schedules are starting to be built.
Okay, so this is a big process and it's impossible to cover it all in a single presentation, so you'll likely have questions. Remember that you are equipped with many resources at your disposal. As a reminder, here is how you find the academic advising resources on the Langley webpage. Teachers and counselors are happy to assist in any way that we can as you begin selecting courses. Helping you land in the right spot next year certainly benefits you by setting you up for success, but also can help us a bit too by having fewer students shifting classes as the school year begins. Thank you very much, and on behalf of your teachers and counselors, we look forward to working with you during this academic advising and course selection time.